Unwind by Neal Shusterman. Part 5. Graveyard. Quote, Southwest Arizona serves as an ideal graveyard for airplanes. It has a dry, clear, and virtually smog-free climate that helps minimize corrosion. It has an alkaline soil so firm that airplanes can be towed and parked on the surface without sinking. An airplane graveyard is not just a fence around airplane carcasses and piles of scrap metal. Rather, many millions of dollars worth of surplus parts are salvaged to keep active aircraft flying. End quote. From Joe Zentner, Airplane Graveyards, desertusa.com. Chapter 32. The Admiral. The blazing sun bakes the Arizona hardpan by day, and the temperature plunges at night. More than 4,000 planes from every era of aviation history shine in the heat of that sun. From cruising altitude, the rows of planes look like crop lines, a harvest of abandoned technology. Number 1. You arrived here by necessity. You stay here by choice. From way up there, you can't see that some of those grounded jets are occupied. 33, to be exact. Spy satellites can catch the activity, but catching it and noticing it are two different things. CIA data analysts have far more pressing things to look for than a band of refugee unwinds. This is what the Admiral's counting on. But just in case, the rules in the graveyard are strict. All activity takes place in the fuselage or under the wings, unless it's absolutely necessary to go out into the open. The heat helps enforce the edict. Number 2. Surviving has earned you the right to be respected. The Admiral doesn't exactly own the graveyard, but his management is undisputed, and he answers to no one but himself. A combination of business sense, favors owed, and a military willing to do anything to get rid of him are what made such a sweet deal possible. Number 3. My way is the only way. The graveyard is a thriving business. The Admiral buys decommissioned planes and sells the parts or even resells them whole. Most business is done online. The Admiral is able to acquire about one retired jet a month. Of course, each one arrives loaded with a secret cargo of unwinds. That's the real business of the graveyard, and business has been good. Number 4. Your life is my gift to you. Treat it like one. Buyers do, on occasion, come to inspect or pick up merchandise, but there's always plenty of warning. From the time they enter the gate, it's 5 miles to the yard itself. It gives the kids more than enough time to disappear like gremlins into the machinery. These types of business-related visitors come only about once a week. There are people who wonder what the Admiral does with all the rest of his time. He tells them he's building a wildlife preserve. Number 5. You are better than those who would unwind you. Rise to the occasion. There are only 3 adults in the Admiral's employ. 2 office workers stationed in a trailer far from the unwinds, and a helicopter pilot. The pilot goes by the name of Cleaver, and he has 2 jobs. The first is to tour important buyers around the lot in style. The second is to take the Admiral on trips around the graveyard once a week. Cleaver is the only employee who knows about the horde of unwinds sequestered in the far reaches of the lot. He knows, but he's paid more than enough to keep quiet. And besides, the Admiral trusts Cleaver implicitly. One must trust one's personal pilot. Number 6. Everyone in the graveyard contributes. No exception. The real work in the yard is done by the unwinds. There are whole teams specially designated to strip the jets, sort parts, and get them ready for sale. It's just like any other junkyard, but on a larger scale. Not all the jets get stripped. Some remain untouched, if the Admiral thinks he can resell them whole. Some are retooled as living quarters for the kids who are, both literally and figuratively, under his wing. Number 7. Teenage rebellion is for suburban school children. Get over it. The kids are grouped in teams best suited for their jobs, their ages, and their personal needs. A lifetime of experience molding military buffs into a coherent fighting force has prepared the Admiral for creating a functional society out of angry, troubled kids. Number 8. Hormones will not rule my desert. Girls are never grouped with boys. Number 9. At 18, you cease to be my concern. The Admiral has a list of his 10 supreme rules posted in each and every plane where kids live and work. The kids call them the 10 Demandments. He doesn't care what they call them as long as each and every one of them knows the list by heart. Number 10. Make something of yourself. This is an order. It's a challenge keeping almost 400 kids healthy, hidden, and whole, but the Admiral has never walked away from a challenge, and his motivation for doing this, like his name, is something he prefers to keep to himself.